thought it should have meant, namely that the state will not interfere in religions, except, of course, to maintain public order, and will be neutral to who will be in government, who will get promoted, who will get admissions on the question of religion. Certain safeguards have to be provided for the minority, because the majority is 83%, and it shouldn't swamp the minorities by majority vote in a democracy. But unfortunately, the way the Gandhis have practiced, Nehru-Gandhi hyphenated, have practiced secularism in India has meant basically the pandering to minority interests. For example, if a Muslim marries more than one wife, he is permitted under the law, because that's what the Shariat allows him. I think he can marry 4 times.
Oh, really? In India?
In India. And if he says simply talaq, talaq, talaq 3 times, the divorce is instantaneous. I mean, this is totally abhorrent to modern civil law. But Hindus are subject to modern civil law. There is a statute passed by Parliament which regulates Hindu marriages, but not Islamic marriages. We say, why should there be 2 laws in the country? Similarly, in the state of Kashmir, Hindus cannot go and settle down in the state of Kashmir and start businesses there and so on, because the Jawaharlal Nehru said that the Muslim proportion should not be reduced by people coming from the rest of India to occupy lands there. So there are a lot of discrimination against the Hindus, and therefore secularism has got a bit discredited.
This is interesting, because in a nation that is, well, the homeland for at least 4 faiths, I think Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sikhism, and is a homeland to the Zoroastrians and other religions.
Yes.
It strikes me as the challenges are immense anyway, because it's a polyglot nation. You're in government, you've been the president of a political party since 1990. What are the challenges that face you?
The only challenge that faces me are 2 extremes. One is, I shouldn't allow the sentiment to snowball into a fascist suppression of minorities.
Okay.
And this happened in Germany when people didn't articulate nationalism properly, and a corporal came and totally distorted the future of Germany. If there is a vacuum, somebody is going to fill it. And there is a vacuum today on an enlightened view of Hinduism. They want a Hindu identity, they want an Indian identity which is in synchronization with Hindu identity. Those urges are there, somebody has to do it.
Racial politics.
It's not racial, there's nothing racial about India. The DNA science research has now shown that we are all the same people.
Right.
We didn't come from anywhere abroad, we are all indigenous to India. But this is the one extreme. The other extreme is that without a well-defined Indian identity, we will not be able to progress as a nation, because we've got 130 million Muslims who are being told that they are transnational. They are not, they are Muslims first and Indians second. Now we've got to tell them something by which we don't hurt their feelings.
Who's telling them this?
Oh, Osama bin Laden is telling them, the Al-Qaeda is telling them. And they are making inroads, because there's nothing else to challenge that concept.
Yeah.
And we have to do that, and we have to define an Indian identity where Muslim has to place Indian interests above even their religious interests.
लेकिन आपके संविधान में जब एक शब्द आ गया कि आप सेक्युलर स्टेट हैं, उसमें तो लोगों को ये लगता है कि हमारे धर्म की इज्जत है और हम अपने धर्म की इज्जत और देश के मामले को अलग अलग तरीके से देखेंगे। वहां कई दफा धर्म भी पहले आ जाता लोगों का, फिर क्या करेंगे?
धर्म तो ये जो सेक्युलर है, ये सेक्युलर आइडिया ये यूरोप में शुरू हुआ था, क्योंकि यूरोप में जो क्रिश्चियनिटी थी वो इतनी उसका स्ट्रांग पावर थी, वो रूल भी करते थे। क्रिश्चियन जो चर्च वर्च के लोग थे वही उन्हीं का राज था, तो उनको थोड़ा कम करने के लिए चर्च और स्टेट को सेपरेट किया गया। लेकिन भारत में धर्म ने कभी ऐसे नहीं किया कि दूसरे धर्म को अलाउ नहीं किया। तो हमारे में वो जो एक्सक्लूसिविटी का प्रॉब्लम है क्रिश्चियनिटी का यूरोप में, वो भारत में कभी हुआ नहीं। सो हमारे को ये सेक्युलरिज्म की बीमारी की इलाज, वो जो बीमारी है क्रिश्चियन कंट्रीज में कि दूसरों को अलाउ नहीं करेंगे, तो वो हमारे में बीमारी ही नहीं है, तो उसका इलाज भी नहीं चाहिए। तो सेक्युलरिज्म जिस चीज का इलाज है वो बीमारी हिंदुस्तान की बीमारी नहीं थी, अब बन रही है।
तो इसका मतलब आप तो सेक्युलरिज्म की थॉट को ही खारिज कर रहे हैं भारत के संविधान?
जी, ये भारत में जितने भी तरह के धर्म हैं वो ठीक है, क्योंकि इतने सालों से, हजारों सालों से ये धर्म में आपस में युद्ध नहीं हुआ। ये युद्ध मॉडर्न टाइम्स में हो रहा है, और ये युद्ध भी, इसका भी कारण है जो मॉडर्न डेमोक्रेसी है उसका वो एक इफेक्ट ये हुआ है कि वोट बैंक शुरू हो गई है, और वोट बैंक्स के लिए लोगों को, जो पॉलिटिशियंस हैं वो भड़काते हैं लोगों को कि आपके कम्युनिटी को, आपकी जाति को या माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप को हम संभालेंगे, और संभालने के लिए आपको ये समझाएंगे कि आपका दूसरों के साथ टक्कर क्यों होनी चाहिए, और आपका इतिहास भी इस तरह से आर्यन द्रविडियन डिवाइड जो बना रखा है, जो कास्ट का हिस्ट्री बना रखी है, ये जो फेमिनिस्ट लोग हैं, ये जो विदेश से जो आइडियोलॉजीज आई हैं, इनके कारण ही ये प्रॉब्लम्स हो रहे हैं, और फंडिंग भी वहीं से
cannot be done in Delhi. Delhi is too political and too difficult because the moment you start talking like this, there is a lot of hostility. Now, of course, ultimately we have to win Delhi, ultimately. But I